Hello YouTube, welcome back to another video. So this one's going to be war number 2 and 3. Technically not season, off season, but we're not sure what it is in season 36. So we're coming up into this first war here against Black. I did put on a community post on YouTube just saying that I only did two fights in this war. So I'm just going to be kind of just putting this war 2 and war 3 together, just so it kind of makes sense to be a decent length video, and I'm not just spamming people with like a couple of fights in a war, because I know I've had people in the comments give me grief about that in the past. So we're going to come across the first fight here, which is this Juggernaut on Path 4. We didn't really do assignments for these paths and fights anymore, just because of the way that obviously now they announced that this was kind of going back to the off season. But I wanted to see how Dr. Doom was going to fare against the new buffed Juggernaut, and how he'd deal with the Path 4 nodes and the way that the ability accuracy would come into play. And I do get caught a couple of times from the ability accuracy reduction. So there you see, I'd parried, thought I'd got the stun, didn't. Juggernaut even quite happily told me on the screen then that there was no stun for me. So I appreciate him giving me the feedback and the heads up. Thanks, Juggernaut. But we're going to hit this special 3 here with Dr. Doom, and we're just going to try and go through the whole process. Now, what I did as soon as this special 3 landed was I waited and paused just a little second just to see if he was stunned or not. They were, so I just kind of went to the Doom cycle after that. I assumed they should be, but I just thought I'd better figure it out just in case somehow the ability accuracy in some way, which would be very weird, would have affected it. But it didn't. We came out with like really solid health, so I wouldn't ever be worried about doing a fight. And you shouldn't really be worried doing a fight with Dr. Doom, probably at any point anyway. So then I only have one more fight left in this war, and it's coming up against this Cable here on Path 1. So on this node, it's the buffet and reinvigorated unblockable and all that rubbish. So I decided to use Sunspot because he's the global. I want to test him and I want to see how he's going to do. With him being the global, once you put 3 debuffs on the defender, like that there, you're going to see they are then heal blocked. So whenever you kind of go through Sunspot's rotation, I did mess it up slightly there, but I managed to catch it back. So when you go through the whole rotation, you're going to keep putting more and more debuffs, but when you do the heavy, you take away all the debuffs again, so it puts you in kind of a weird position. But the plan of action here is just to hit a special 2 off after I've got a couple of the flare charges, and then this fight should be pretty easily taken care of. And you're going to see here, even with 0 crits, the damage is still way too much, and that's just how my contribution for this war ends. Couldn't really do anything else with my team, and then by the time I went to actually do anything, everybody had already cleared it. So then we come up into the second war of the 2 wars that I'm going to be displaying against J8. So you can see here now, fair shout to Kabam, they've obviously fixed it. The global ban is now in place, so props to them. They implemented it, and now it is in the system and it is sorted. So that's perfect, and it will hopefully carry on to be a smooth sailing ride. But here, my plan of action was to bring in CGR as well as Sunspot again, and just see how they were both going to cope with doing fights, because I wasn't sure what fights I wanted to do. I just kind of thought, let's go for section like Path 6 and Section 1. We'll go against this APOC with Warlock. Let's see how this goes, because it's a rank 4 APOC. On Spiked Armor and that Prowess node. So I've just got to remember his special 1s and special 2s into block or whatever will do more damage. It's kind of, again, it's kind of like off season, so most people will have willpower or whatever placed. But I can see
people probably wouldn't even suggest sending the Warlock to this in season anyway. And yeah, it wasn't the best matchup. I did lose some health, but these things just happen. It is what it is. But yeah, Apoc's still pretty steady. Nothing really to worry about. I'm very intrigued to see how this season goes with the kind of potential lack of power back boost that people could have. So we'll see how that affects organization. The weird thing is now that obviously with Kabam's kind of matchmaking rule of once in 6. So what we mean by that is that if we match, so we've matched JA in what technically would have been War 3 of the season now, we now can't match them again until War 9. So you have to wait 6 War matches to be able to match them again. So we could technically still match them in what would be the second half of the season. So we'll see how that all goes. I'd personally rather not have rematches, but you know, it is what it is. This fight I was very happy with, and it really showcases how good Sunspot can be, how good his damage is, how like he can just work around so many different nodes that, again, he makes me so happy that at first I did Sunspot as a rank 3 prestige option. Obviously, once his rank 4 prestige dropped off, people kind of just ignored him and forgot about him. But I was using him quite heavily as a battlegrounds, like nuke. And I get the rotation down a lot better this time with Sunspot than what I did against that cable fight. Here, I probably should have dexed that, but I was just a little bit too far behind. And the only other thing that I don't know if people noticed or not is that because of the global having a negative 100% ability accuracy on unblockable attacks, Sauron never went unblockable against me at any point. So that's all good. The only time I think someone triggers unblockable is, I believe it's here with iHulk. So we're going to find out. I'll be watching this live again because it's been a few hours since I actually did this fight, so I can't really remember too much. I remember it taking a little bit longer than what I thought it was going to. But that's my fault. I didn't have suicides on, I didn't have power back boosts on, and all the other jazz. Triggered dexterity there, knowing that I was going to go back through the damnation cycle. Throw another special 2. As you can see here that we're just kind of getting this iHulk down, we're not really worrying too much about anything. Gonna throw this special 1. So they're definitely heal blocked. And yeah, actually, yeah, there you go. So the unblockable never even triggers either. So nothing to worry about there. I'm not using Warlock, so I don't have to worry about him going double unblockable somehow, weirdly, for some reason. And then here we're going to go up against this Human Torch again on that buffet node, path 1. Once I'd taken Sauron in the shared fights, I just kind of waited to see where everyone else was going. There was an Omega Sentinel on path 3 that didn't look too much of a nice matchup with the champions that I brought into war. So I decided against that one. So I'm just going to do this buffet with Human Torch, or against Human Torch with Warlock. Again, once I get the infection, and it's the buffet node, should be constantly controlling the power because of willpower. I do quite often mess up Human Torch's special 1. Like, if I'm honest, I don't know why. I did have a little bit of time when I was getting it perfectly, but there just seems to be a time as well where I constantly seem to mess it up. And I feel like I have them moments with quite a few people's special attacks. Like Dr. Doom's special 2. I just have some days where I could have it thrown at me 100 times, and I'm just never going to dex it once. But you see, Warlock's quite easily here just doing the job. He's just getting it all done. We don't need to worry. He doesn't got any Smolders because I kept getting hit by the last part of his special 1. So he's not building them up that way. And that was kind of like joint fight, path fight, some whatever else kind of done for this war. I went into the line chat here and just asked, is anyone planning on taking this Sasquatch and Mangog or whatever? So after waiting like 10 or so minutes for someone, I didn't get a reply. And I have a couple of these grey boosts that were expiring, so I just decided to go for it. See where we lay, see where we're at. So this is the Conflictor mini boss. Plan of action here is to just kind of do the Sunspot cycle up to the point of getting up to the special 2 after getting a few solar flares, and then hopefully we should be able to just end it with a huge special 2. Now the boss had already been dropped by this point, so the Mystic global was off, but I got caught by the special 2, the end of the special 2 there, which put these ruptures on, and it ruined what potentially I personally think I could have got it down in this one go, because the rupture damage was just so much, and I just got the solar charges ready to throw off a big special 2, but I never got a chance to throw it. So I'm like, right, okay, let me just chuck Warlock in. He's not gonna finish this fight from here. Maybe if I had a white mags and I was really caring a little bit more, possibly, but it's not a good matchup, and I just thought I'd have a go and just have a mess about with this Sasquatch. So no point throwing the special 2, so I'm just going to build up to special 3. I'm then going to hit parry just to make sure that Conflict has been triggered on the stun, so you're going to see in a second. I didn't get it from the first one because of the infection on the ability accuracy, but in a second it lands there, so they instantly take it. And now I'm going to throw this special 3. The actual damage on the special 3 is pretty much nothing, you're going to see in a second. But what it allows me to do is it allows me to have that power drain you're going to see here from that shock. That's just going to be just ticking away all his power. Stops me having to worry about it. And now I just have to make sure I time the unstoppables right. There's 1 that was done well. There's 2 that was done well. There's 3 that was done well. So at this point it's looking good. Now I'm conscious after the Sunspot incident, and I get parried, and he combos me to death. So it was pretty steady. Again, if you were paying more attention, if you were boosted, you probably could get through that fight with Warlock. I really wouldn't want to, but you probably could. So now Sunspot gets his rematch. Only 40% on the health. I still have my advanced power start. That's how quickly I've kind of been going through this fight each time. There can't have been very many seconds left on it by the time I go back into it this time, with the fact that Warlock's him, like it took a while anyway. So now I'm just trying to bait out this special 2, make sure I dex it, because by the looks of things, Sunspot's really weird with dexing it compared to a few other people. So we're going to go through there, we're going to hit another special 1. We have all the incinerates on. We could probably just hit into his block because of the incinerates and what that does to block proficiency. We could probably just sit there and hit into the block and let the fight go that way. But that sounds boring. I don't want to do that. If I get the chance, I want to hit him with a special 2. So here, I just pushed them forward, hit the first bit of the special 2. That does huge damage. There would be the heal block in there otherwise to stop him regen anyway. But that's just the last few fights. I'm hopefully going to get the season started very, very soon as per everyone else. Hopefully all the Kabam bugs and whatever are all fixed now. And we can have a good time in season 36, trying to get some steady, decent rewards and pick up some loyalty on the way. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please look out for the next few ones coming through, and I'll catch you on the next one.